Thank you for tuning in to Tamara for Georgia. I am Tamara Johnson Shealey, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm an independent Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we unite our country once and for all. Please go to my website. It's tamaraforgeorgia.com. And please join me every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Tamara for Georgia. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is a gloomy Saturday morning here in Georgia, gloomy. And your girl is running hard. I wake up running. I go to bed running. I wake up, I go to bed, and I run. Well, we're here, and good morning. And I have a very special guest this morning. I am super excited because those of you who know me well. Y'all know I'm a reparationist. So I have a fellow reparationist candidate with me this morning, Mr. Reverend William Summerville. Good morning.
Good morning, Tamara Johnson Shealey. I said it right now, right? And I am going to continue to give you a hard time to ask you what you are doing for yourself to love yourself every day because you love us so much and give so much. I want you to give that energy you give out to us and that we embrace, we clearly take advantage of and receive. I need for you to put some of that energy back into you and be very consistent with that. So that's what I'm doing. Every time I come to Georgia, I'm coming to bring Tamara Johnson Shealey some self-love. So get ready. So we about to make it happen.
It is you, and you know this is, and we're gonna get into. Is this your first or second? Tell me which run this is for you.
This is my first run. Now let me give a little bit of context. This is my first run for public office or as an elected official. I have been in elected positions where most specifically dating back in 2016, I was a top elected delegate out of South Orange County, California, which is considered not chocolate at all. For the 2016 DNC delegation. Then for the California Democratic Party, I was elected as a top assembly district delegate from 2017 to 2019. Then 2020 comes around, DNC convention comes up again. I was reelected as a top delegate there. And so now it's just like, okay, let's run for the office itself. Yeah. And we go from there. So that's my political experience as it relates to the inner workings of seeing not only how politics works, but seeing how the Democratic Party can be rather undemocratic, and especially to us. We're drunk off of symbolism. We're drunk off of, minority chocolate faces in high places. It's a whole situation. Everybody want to look good, but nobody want to be good. And so that's why I'm here. Our campaign motto, mantra, and message is serve the people. And we just go from there. And I'm just happy to be here with, like I said, Queen Tamara. So my fellow reparationist comrade.
Yes. We're going to slow down and take this conversation one step at a time because I really want people to know who you are. And I want them to understand the magnitude of our candidacies and how this is transformative to America, like all of America. So I want us to take this thing, and we got people, I'm sure they'll be chiming in with questions. Y'all put your questions in the chat. The Reverend William Summerville is with us, California. Tell us what district this is. District
42.
42.
This is a newly drawn district. As you know, with the U.S. Census Bureau, lines were redrawn. And so I started in the Congressional District 47, which consisted of both LA County and Orange County. In the LA County side, mostly the Long Beach area, and then cities like Garden Grove, Westminster, and Orange County side. But now that the lines have been redrawn, they basically said most of Long Beach, then we'll take you into the Southeast Los Angeles neighboring cities. And so, and the major issues that you'll find in my district are around climate injustices. And there's a lot of educated people. So clearly, rattled with student debt. And then we have the homeless crisis, obviously out here in California, but now that's becoming a federal thing, as you know. And then there is health injustices. Then, of course, there's white supremacy that continues to reign. And so,
okay, before we dive too far in the
issue, but that's the district, to answer your question.
So District 42 so it is, again, tell me the cities that it kind of encompasses.
Cities that consist of it are Long Beach, and you'll find this on my website at SummervilleForCongress.com, CA 42nd, and it literally shows a map of the congressional district. So most of Long Beach area, from the east side going to the north of Long Beach, then into Signal Hill, parts of Signal Hill, which is a city within Long Beach. Then you have parts of Bellflower, parts of Lakewood, Downey, Cudahy, Florence Graham, Huntington Park. And then Catalina Island.
Let me
so where you see CA 42nd, click on that link.
Okay. For all of our folks who have folks on the West Coast, please, y'all.
There's my people serving food. That's the congressional map. It is a Bell Gardens there. Yeah. Bell Gardens, Maywood, Bell, Huntington Park. Demographics.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. The demographic makeup, about 54% Latinx, 9% us, 9% Asian American, mostly Cambodian, and then of course white European Americans. I don't call them Caucasians no more. And they make up the rest. So yeah.
So if this district is heavily Hispanic, mostly, correct?
Correct. It is.
So, and I'm going to ask you, before we go to that, I'm going to make a note. We're going to come back to that. Tell us, you're a pastor. Let's talk about who you are. Who are you? You're a husband, you're a daddy.
Yeah. Husband, father, pastor, hospice chaplain, academic. I am in the midst of writing a dissertation, which my dissertation committee folk that I keep in touch with, they're like, you need to be consistent in your writing. So pray for me for a spirit of discipline there.
In 2020, Reverend Summerville, I actually finished my last semester of law school while I was on the campaign trail. So it can be done. But
Yes, that's why I'm here.
So you can do it too.
That's why I'm following your lead.
You can do it.
Yeah,
do it.
I'm coming in your footsteps. And also I served in the military as a chaplain for 8 years, from 2001 to 2008. So that's the sum of me. But or should I say that's the sum of me. Most specifically, though, I was born and reared in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, from parents who came out of the segregated South, Deacon Willie T. and Valerian Alexander Somerville, out of Arkansas, dad out of Crossett, Arkansas, mom out of North Little Rock, Arkansas, in a little town called Rixie. They, have an older brother, older sister. My brother lives in Georgia, whom he will be voting for you. Just let's be very clear. So, and he serves as one of the music directors at Berean Church and what have you there. My sister, she's a community advocate and the first elected Black woman of the Champaign County Rotary Club out of Champaign-Urbana, Illinois. So clearly I come from a family of service, be it that going back to my parents, they were public educators. They were married for 48 years. They're now both deceased. However, they brought me into a world of significant love. And I feel like this calling, this political run is a calling and calling me to further expand and extend the love that they gave, not only to us as a family, but to the community out of which they served, they loved, and it loved them back. And so, this is just really in my veins, even more than just my blood. And we're here for service. So that's a little bit about me.
How many children?
Oh, thank you. Yes. 3. I am a husband, right? I did mention being a husband. 3 children, 25. We are a blended family. My oldest is 25. You want to talk about family legacy? She is, I'm really proud of her too. Not only a graduate of NYU, but she teaches in Harlem at Columbia Secondary School as a math teacher. Mm-hmm. And then I have a 15-year-old son that lives in Montana with his mother. Mm-hmm. And then my youngest son will be 8 years old next week. So we, and he believes like me when I was in this world that the world is in love with him. So, yeah.
And we are. Look, and we are.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
We love our children. Yes.
Right. So that's my situation.
Yeah. You know what? I'm a mother of 2 young adult sons. So you have them at all 3 stages of life. So I'm sure that is, it's an adventure, but it is such a wonderful thing to be a parent. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So
no. This is a gift. They give me a gift, which I'm thinking my youngest is waking up. So,
Daddy, what you doing? Yeah.
I'm on the call right now, okay?
Yeah, right.
She's at work. Go back in the room. Thank you.
Just a few minutes. I promise I won't be long.
Oh no, you're fine.
Yeah. So District 42, the state of California.
Yes.
So you talked about being a delegate and coming from truly the inside out. A lot of people come from the outside in, and I was one of those persons that came from the outside in. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get an opportunity to see what I saw until later. And for you, from somebody who's on the inside, now stepping on the outside to run, it's a different approach, and because your perspective has been different. And for me, when I saw the inside after being on the outside, it broke my heart. It broke my heart, Reverend Summerville. It didn't break my spirit, but it broke my heart, because what I believed to be true was a lie. Mm-hmm. And that broke my heart, because I stand on the democratic principles. I believe that things are what they say they are. Mm-hmm. But when you get inside, you see that that's not true.
No, not true at all. Not true at all. When we were being told, and especially we California delegates during the DNC of 2016, because I don't know if you remember when the clergy, Reverend Dr. Cynthia Hale was giving the prayer, and she said, "God bless Hillary Clinton And we Bernie delegates, because I was a Bernie delegate at the time in California, they started out boo because we were told the nominee wasn't chosen yet. And even with when the AP basically Associated Press basically announced that she was it, and we were like, but we are hearing it's going to be a contested convention, and that's what was being presented to us. So yeah, it just create just that right there, and that's when it started. I was like, okay, this is about to get crazy. You only get 8 hours of sleep. Majority of the backdoor deals, or the deals that are happening, are between the hours of 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. It's a whole situation. So it was just like, whoa.
And it makes for, it makes it. I was on ClubHouse. I spent the majority of my time as far as social media on ClubHouse. And it was a conversation I was having. I was in a room yesterday, and a woman who said that she was a staunch Democrat, and I couldn't understand that. And it baffled me. Like, how can you be so committed to the party that is not totally committed to you? Like, she was intentional, like she and I just kept going back and forth, because I honestly, and it was me, I think there's still a side of me where there might be a little glimpse of hope that the party could one day get it right. Like, so I'm like, but I wanted to understand how you could choose party over people when the party says they are all inclusive, and this process is fair. That's where I think the breakdown for me, because I've seen it, and it's happened to me personally, where the process has not been fair.
No,
like you just said with Bernie and Hillary, the process was not fair.
And to be very clear, I had my mind on reparations when Bernie was running. Okay, let me be very clear about this. Like, it was during the time where Black folks still politically had to love us on the down low, but because he came out loud with social democracy, which is from a descendant of U.S. chattel slavery, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and to really, talk about that, I had my mind set like, oh, we get him in, we can now push protest and demand for reparations, because reparations best sits in a social democracy. Now, back to your point, like I said, and obviously for the point of conversation regarding the inner workings of the Democratic Party. Yeah, it was like, yeah, staunch Democrat, but it was the illusion of inclusion. That's the problem, right? we do the illusion of inclusion very well. And for me, I'm only in the Democratic Party because majority of my people are there. Even though I'm, if there was another way and another option and viable option for political strength to get the scale off of Black folks' eyes to be a part of a different party, let's do it. I'm all in. However, because our people are still there, I'm still there. And obviously, one of the things that I learned in seminary with all this information and even where I learned the inner workings of interpretation and theology and history and all that stuff, right? We learned that. But it's just like, oh, well, everything is not what it presents itself to seem. Right? So it's like, yeah. So just because, like I said, just because our people are there is the reason why I'm there. To my point, what I learned in grad school is don't leave. We are called to lead people, not leave people. Right?
Say that again, brother. I like that one. Say that again.
Yeah. We are called to lead people, not leave our people. And unfortunately, that's my critique of liberation.
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to us informed persons, where it's just like, okay, it could be fatigue, fair enough. It could be a sense of exhaustion, but this is not how the ancestors treated us. This is not how Howard Thurman treated us. This isn't how W.E.B. Du Bois treated us. This ain't how Frederick Douglass. This ain't how Paul Robeson treated us. It's not, you see what I'm saying? Like, so no. So yeah, so that's where I am.
Yes, I love that. You know, and you and I we're on the same page with why we run as Democrats, is because that is where our people are, and we can't leave. I just refuse. I'm with you. I refuse to leave them on the plantation. And see, I'm Southern. I'm right here in the state of Georgia. My people, we never left the South. Many of you were able to move north and move west. My people never left. So there's something that is inside of me that I just cannot leave Black people inside the Democratic Party. I can't leave you there. So it's like, if you're there, then I'm gonna have to stay there with you and fight for the Democratic Party to get this right. So there's that little glimpse of hope, I think, that I kind of hold on to for the sake of my people, like that the Democratic Party can get it right. But we're gonna have to force and fight, to get it right.
And that's the issue. Like, that's totally the issue. Stay and fight with my folks, or fail with my people, right? Like, because we in this together, right? Like, I just tweeted to Marcel, as Marcel, obviously our fellow reparationist, was identifying obviously the challenges with running this race and running these races. And I said, I'm as much as I would love to basically, and I paraphrase, to receive love back from our people, I didn't sign up to get validated from my people either. I'm really here, like I said, because I love my people, whether they love me back or not, right? And that's just how we roll. And love looks very different to different people in different perspectives. I just feel like, because I was cultivated in a context of really intentional love, it's only right for me to, like I said, further expand that earlier, and we go from there.
And you know what? I think some of our people, Reverend, they don't have the capacity. You know, this is like the trauma that from what has been done to us. We all don't. I know sometimes, as hard as I fight and as hard as I go, and this is my 5th run. Like, we talked about, and we're gonna talk about just your first run and your experience. We'll go into that. But this is my 5th run, and people are like, how, why, how, and why? And I just for the love of for God told me to keep running, and I'm being obedient to the process and to the calling of my life. And I love us. I love us, and I love us enough to keep sacrificing. I'm a living sacrifice. Isn't that what the word says, Pastor?
Yeah. Present yourself as a living sacrifice. Operative word, living. Okay, not existing, not sleepwalking. Let's be very clear about that, right? And the fact that we're at a time, like I said, this is why I call you an OG, because you were at a time, you came in running for these offices at a time where we didn't have a codified term to tribalize ourselves to love us collectively. Now we have that. And or not necessarily now we have that. We've always had that. Now we're awakened to it, right? And we're taking hold of it. And that's, I'm in on the wave rather than being a pioneer more than anything. I'm coming in on this wave, not,
Stay there with that thought. I didn't think about that. This is a wave. It is.
Yeah.
We're now in our moment. Like, it's, when I think about like how they must have felt, that generation of the 60s, when they were in the moment of that King era, the civil rights movement. This is our generation.
This is us. Yeah.
This is our time, right?
This is our third wave. This is the third wave that Reverend Dr. William Barber was talking about, that I think on some level he's missing, respectively. This is our civil rights. This is our Reconstruction. We're here, and we're claiming the history of freedmen. We're claiming the history, like, And like I said, my parents were great beneficiaries of the civil rights movement. That's why they were able to love each other the way they could, because they had good policy. You know, I would talk about, at one time I would say, I was a child of good privilege, 2-parent home, 5-bedroom house, all the, that's what I grew up in. I struggled. I did not suffer like many of my peers, right? And especially Black peers. But I'm like, wait. And yeah, and I'm like, oh, wait, it's on me. But all of the Black folk that I grew up around were doing well, were great beneficiaries of great policy. Reverend Benjamin Cox, he was one of the 17 who took the Freedom Ride from Tennessee. His 5 sons were my peers. And just not realizing, wait, and I'm thinking, wait, this is the way it's supposed to be. Not realizing the 80s is here and the whole crack epidemic then obliterated us. But yeah, you had many Black educators, including my parents, around me. Then growing up in a campus town and what have you, like they were the beneficiaries of that civil rights wave. And so it only makes sense that we're here. And like I said, I'm here for all the momentum and the smoke. And for me, the momentum also for me is the progressive momentum from the quote unquote political revolution of this progressive wing of the Democratic Party. However, I hold the progressives accountable to say, what are you doing to try to correct the historical injustices? Because progressivism is really big about universal policies and universalism, which I'm for. But the issue is, what are we doing to try to correct the historical injustices and wrong in our society and move away from solely thinking that universal policies fix the injustices? And so, yeah, it's
the rising tide does not lift all boats, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I'm in on this wave, but very, very clear on what I'm observing, interpreting to say, right, that wave, that be it this wave, but to your point, the rising tides don't lift all boats. Yeah.
No, we got to be very intentional about policy for the Black community. We got to demand it. And, on the heels of the Supreme Court nomination, I get that. I've listened to a lot of conversations, and everybody, I've seen people that are extremely excited to have her. Then I've heard people that say, they're just not there. And it's because, and I was hopeful to get that message across in some of these conversations, we can no longer just have Black faces in high places. We have to have transformative policies, and that doesn't move this generation of us.
Correct.
I'm glad to see that we have representation, because representation matters, but does it matter more than true policy?
Right, or true transformation, to your point, right? Mm-hmm. And in part because historically, at one time, Black faces meant good things for Black people in high places. But here's the beast of all of this. We got money in politics. That did it for us. We've got to get money out of politics. That's a universal policy I will ride on. Because if we don't have that, then none of this noble transformative policy is just not happening, which further speaks to why I'm running for federal office more than state or local, because federal legislation, the federal line, if you will, that's our last line of defense when it comes to being protected. That's our last line of defense when it comes to being protected, because often state and local offices are just so drenched with corporate greed and corruption, and it's just it's just you can't get nothing done. That's seeing this obviously as an insider coming out rather than
that's an insider. Let me ask you a question though. So here's where let's stay with that topic, money and politics.
okay.
You know, they tend. So here's what's happening here in Georgia. The Atlanta Press Club that usually hosts of some sort of forum debate has decided not to host a forum / debate for my campaign to the
right
against Warnock. They have decided not to because they quote unquote say it's not competitive. So I've made a phone call and spoke with some folks and that were competitive. So I said, so you've quantified this race. So because you don't see the money in my campaign that you see in the Warnock campaign, you've deemed this is a non-competitive. You can't compete if you don't have money. So we're not even going to even give you any press. So you see how the corruption even it trickles over into
right.
Heard.
Yeah, no, to your point, we've normalized corruption. We've gotten real comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
And sleeping
like
with
that's
it.
Okay. Yes.
As if it's okay. Like it's like I often share, like Reverend Summerville, right? Just because something's legal don't make it right. And just because it's a sin don't mean it's a crime.
You better say
Let's
that.
be very clear about this.
Pastor, say that again, Pastor, one more time. Some of these things you have to say just to make sure the people in the back of the room can hear you.
Yeah, just because it's legal don't mean it's right. And just because it's a sin don't mean it's a crime, right? And so this, and to hold myself, religious colleagues accountable, this is even happening within religious context, right? Within the church. This is our challenge with Reverend Warnock. Because it's like, this is what I love about your candidacy. How can we be honest and sincere and authentic in wanting to hold institutions accountable when we run and corrupt out of our own? Part of that is post-traumatic slave syndrome. I get it. Thank you, Dr. Joy DeGruy, for it. However, we who considers ourselves informed, awakened, and whatnot, when you know better, you do better. Come on, so yeah, no, we can't do it. I'm just not there. So no. I celebrate you banging and beating down that door. This is our normal right now. And this is why I'm running from the outside, because the Democratic Party, the black folk, they didn't want to accept me on the inside now. So I'm coming out because I know I in essence know y'all secrets. And it's like, I'm clearly not going to rat y'all out, but clearly I know, and it's already said and done of the deals that you've already been bought and sold for. So I'll just pick up the mantle. We'll take it from here. That's really how I'm moving with this thing.
Exactly. And run on. It's like you saw it from the inside and you stepped outside of it to run and be your own person outside of this. And I, again, came from the outside, got on the inside and realized, oh my gosh, I am not this ain't me.
Yeah. No, I'm here. See, you're finding this out of hope. I'm here because I'm hopeless. I just don't see how this, I'm encouraged, but there's real depression there. There's real strain and stress there. It's just it's like, how can you get ahead of the fix before the fix gets in? That's really how I'm seeing this thing.
I think the fix is already there. And I think it takes people like you and I to call it out every step of the way. And I've used my candidacy to call it out every step of the way. You when I see them doing something that's unethical, I'm like, okay, let me let everybody know what y'all doing. Mm-hmm. Shame them. We just got to keep shaming them. And the Democratic Party should be ashamed to do some of the things that it does. I'm like, are y'all not, like you say, normalizing corruption? It's okay that they will outwardly, parties here in Georgia, county parties will outwardly support Warnock, outwardly support him, knowing that he has a primary challenger.
Right.
It's like, so we don't care. We don't care if you know we wrong. We could be wrong. But you know what I love, Pastor? I love God. And I know that God watches and he sees and he knows. And when this thing comes back, they better watch out. Because God ain't gonna, this ain't gonna last like forever.
No, and that's why we have faith. For me, that's why I have faith, because God still has the last word. God is not intimidated by corruption. And we Christians need to get on board when Paul gave us the suggestion, because majority of Christians are more Pauline Christians rather than they are Jesus Christians. That's a whole nother conversation we could have. And that is, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. How strong is your faith to engage spiritual wickedness in high places? And that's the work that you are doing. That's what clearly I admire and celebrate about you, and I'm working to live up to and try and live into that.
You're doing it, brother. Stepping into this and running this again, you said your first run. Stepping into this and running, this is my 5th run. I can just tell you that you have done it. Like once you put your toe in,
you're in it. No, this is yeah. This I wish I had an Aladdin testimony, because this is a whole new world, right? So yeah, this, but more specifically, it's a whole new world because we're doing this thing with with our best sense of integrity here, right? The super PAC that supports Warnock, they reached out to me, and I turned them down to say, I'm not filling out your questionnaire because I know where this is going. Like, can you turn down $400,000 and be okay with yourself? I like my sleep. I like my 8 hours of sleep. I love my peace of mind.
And you know the God you serve, right?
Yeah. That's just where I am. That's just where I am. I'll take, we'll take the contributions that we can, focus on what we can do versus what we cannot do. The team and people that I have behind me, I've been garnering this volunteer support over the past 6 years. I was thinking about running in 2018 and in 2020. It just wasn't, the timing wasn't there. But with my wife, we moved back to the area where we're in. For me, she was just like, I see you running here. And she further gave me a critique and a challenge and basically said, we may have avoided the pandemic had you been in office, had you had earlier ran, because either one or two things would have happened. You would have raised Cain about it, and we would have attacked this thing, or two, at least we would not be going into this blindsided and what have you. So no, this is totally a call for me, obviously, and we just navigate and go accordingly. So yeah.
So the community that surrounds you is predominantly Hispanic. How receptive are they to the messaging? You're a Black man and you have a Black agenda.
Yeah. And they're very well receptive to me because I have a history of service, not a history of political malarkey. Let me be very clear about that. And those that I'm in contact with, and those, like I said, this is grassroots. The people know they're not being served here, and they understand that we fix racism, we fix America. Also,
say that again, brother. Man, you dropping some. Say that again. We fix racism. Say that again.
We fix racism. We fix America. That's why I love Marcel so much, in where he can really be unapologetic. Boy, listen.
Yeah.
Put me in South Carolina in Marcel's context. I am going to be fully unapologetically Black, unashamedly Black, unapologetically Christian. Right? Like, I'm going all hard.
You can be all of that.
I'm going hard.
That's why I love his campaign too, because he's able, that district is predominantly Black. He's speaking their language. He is, I mean,
Like,
oh my God.
I'm just like, gosh, I want this so bad. So yeah, so no, but to your point, or your question, yeah, we fix racism, we fix America, and like I said, for the love of God, immigration is not the only issue for Latinx folk. Like they need workers' rights. They still need medical benefits. They still have we still have contaminated water. We still have corrupt politicians. And make no mistake, California, once again, will present you with the illusion of inclusion, right? Because we're a democratic state, it assumes that it's a progressive state, which not so much. Now, there have been great progressive feats, i.e. AB 3121, i.e. Other stuff, but they're still bought. The majority of California is still bought by big tech, big pharma, and big oil, and big pro health industry and pro real estate.
Let me ask you, stay there with that thought. Do they recognize that this is a bigger agenda even against them as it is against us as Black people?
Correct. Well, they do, but once again, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget when we talk about corporate money and corporate greed. Okay, one lady, she was like, "Rem Summerville, she from New Orleans out here. Rem Summerville, big oil is where it's at. We got to get you some big oil money." I'm just like, but the refineries are in Compton, Inglewood, and Carson. Like, I can't do that. Like, how can I advocate for my people when I'm bought by the industry that kills our people? Like, are we really doing this right now? And especially when you see this stuff firsthand as a hospice chaplain, with cancerous patients who are dying due to the emissions and pollutions from these refineries. And it's just like do we not see this? Because they ain't got the refineries down in South Orange County. They don't have the refineries in Malibu and Beverly Hills, and what have you. But interesting how the poetic justice happens, where the oil spills are happening in Santa Monica and Huntington Beach out here. So yeah, it's a whole circumstance. But no, to your question, no, they don't get it. Or I want to believe they don't get it, or they know what they're doing and they feel like they're expunged from the consequences. So yeah.
Oh, climate, you said, is a huge issue out there. How does it affect the weather, or this is in the what is happening with climate out there?
The weather, just the air. Okay, Ice Cube, right? Mm-hmm. When he came out with the song "Today Was a Good Day," right? Mm-hmm. It makes sense when you live out in California. Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kind of odd. No barking from the dog. The climate of police. Yeah. No smog. The air. And mama cooked the breakfast with no hog. You see what I'm saying? Like, wait, whoa.
No smog. So no smog was a good day.
Yeah, no smog was a good day. Really was a good day. He crystallized this thing. And so, yeah, it's
so that smog is just the norm. Like, y'all are just, that is your normal.
Right.
To air pollution.
We need fast speedway. There's speedway rails, a fast speed. We need that. Like, it's ridiculous how and gas prices out here. Like, this is ridiculous.
What are the gas prices out there? What's the average gas price right now in the state?
$5.45. It's a mess. But we don't have to. This is why policy is so important, right? And majority of us Christian preachers don't know how this stuff works, right? So
say that again, Pastor. But the majority, look, you just have to. I'm sorry, I keep making you, because I think there's some people in the back of the room. These pastors don't really know how these policies work.
Right. We're very politically
Let me just
aware.
say this. Let me give you this little caveat. Warnock is in Congress. His best legislation from March 25th of last year to February the 17th of this year was to put a statue of Shirley Chisholm in Congress. That was his best legislation for almost 11 months. Had his name on 298 bills that belonged to other legislators. He was rubber stamping everything and not introducing nothing that could get past anything or anybody. So you're right. It's like, if you know, stay in your lane. If this ain't policy and politics ain't your thing, stay in your lane.
Well, once again, I got to ask, who's paying him? Where's he getting his money from? That's my question. That's my rhetorical question.
And who does he owe it back to? Because he doesn't owe it back to the people. Yeah.
Yeah. And when good money has been given to him. Let's be very clear about this too. You know, opensecrets.org, that's where you'll see where all the politicians get their money. That's one. But yeah, but we're politically aware, but how we're educated around how the political inside works, it's just not, because of our wealth gap or lack of wealth. We are taking these deals and taking money being given to us, but not necessarily is good money for us. It's just it's a tragedy. It's like it's really a tragedy all around. And yeah, some of it is when you know better, you ain't doing better. And then I would still say the majority of it is around the fact that post-traumatic slave syndrome is very real. Chattel slavery still did nothing good for us at all. Mm-hmm. So that's where I am.
The homelessness in your state, and then we're gonna wrap it up with reparations, because you know everybody. I wanted to bring it home with reparations. So
yes.
Homelessness in your state. Talk about that.
Okay, I am I'll talk about it. Okay, I've been homeless in my state.
I have been homeless in my state. This is the state of Black America.
Right. And from work out of the NAASD, they sent me numbers. I don't know the exact article or exact researcher, but I'll go on the strength of their work. They've identified that 52% of homeless persons here in California are Black men who are descendants of U.S. chattel slavery.
Say that again, Pastor.
Yeah, 52% of all the homeless persons here in California are Black men who are descendants of U.S. chattel slavery. And I was one of them at one time. And not only one of them at one time, I was homeless in the Congressional District I'm seeking to get into the House with.
And that's how God will move.
Come through.
Only do it, because that's how.
Yeah. You have real estate development that has bought majority of our politicians, both local and state. One of my opponents, who is the mayor of the city, one of the cities that I'm running in, he made a deal with real estate developers to further put his pack and stack his coffers, that drove 24,000 people out of their homes, and claimed that it was going to be affordable housing because it was at market value. And it's just like, no, we're not doing this. And it's now, but homelessness, as you mentioned, is an issue in Georgia too, as it is throughout the United States. That's why I'm getting behind Alex Padilla on his Housing for All proposal that he's currently drawing up right now, to further identify how we can further fit in that. Which my approach is how we can ask for specific legislation in these universal policies that are being proposed until we can talk about a comprehensive reparations bill. Okay. What does reparations look like to me? As we have varying degrees, but there's very much intersectionality. I've come up with the term, I got a new term, and I mentioned it to some of the other family. I've come up with the term LEREM High, LEREM High, LEEREMMHI. That's an acronym representing all the institutions out of which white supremacy targets specifically against us. Those institutions being the institution of legal, economics, education, real estate, religion, the environment, the military, media, healthcare, and international affairs.
That covers all the bases.
Yep. That's what our reparations for us will include all of that. And that's why I say comprehensive reparations specifically. Because I just think about, once again, what it means to be a protected class for us. I worked a job as a hospice chaplain, as a spiritual care provider, one who works to diffuse anxiety from persons who are actively dying and know and fully aware that they are approaching death. But as a hospice chaplain, spiritual care provider, full 2 postgraduate degrees, and skilled and talented in my line of work, I worked for an agency for 5 years. I did not get a raise. I did not get any benefits. I did not receive any vacation time. And I did not, and when 3 full-time jobs opened up in my agency where I was doing backfill for those full-time chaplains, I was not hired. That would be very different if we were a protected class. That's how we make this thing tangible. Okay. So yeah, that's where we move. And I thank you, like I said, for allowing me to stand on your shoulders. You are my giant.
Oh,
and I love you, and I thank you.
We're both standing on the shoulders of giants that have come before us, and we're just finishing the work.
Yeah. In the words of Nick Cannon from his show, we pick it up and kill it and kill it and kill it. Okay. Pick up and kill it and kill it and kill it. Okay. Oh gosh.
Reverend Summerville, it has been a pleasure. I know you have another Zoom at the top of the hour, but let me, if you would, just say thank you for being my guest today, my audience. You know what? This reparations movement, we're on fire. It's happening. It is here. It is now. Go to Reverend Summerville for Congress, SummervilleForCongress.com. Y'all support us. Support us. Do us what you have.
Real quick. A couple of things. Obviously, we have the National Reparations Day that Marcel is inaugurating. So looking forward to that. And I'll further flesh out my whole LEREM High comprehensive reparations theory. But so y'all get that on the calendar, April 18th in the Twitter spaces.
April 18th, everybody.
Yeah, April 18th, which I'm really excited about listening and hearing from you too. Also, go to my website, to the events page, in the events section on my page. And you will see at the bottom of the events section, single payer health fair with Hindus for America, or single payer health fair for America. Basically, it's a virtual health fair that I'm hosting with Hindus for America, for all of America. Okay. This is not just California. So if you live in Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Dakota, South Dakota, this is in America. Okay. Single payer health fair initiative. We are offering $600 value of blood work to be drawn and 2 physician consultations for only $25. Okay. So if you need blood work to be done, there's 6 readings that are made available to you, with 2 physician consultations being made available to you. And it's only for $25, be it that you're insured or uninsured, have a primary care physician or not. So please sign up for that, pre-register now. If you feel like you don't need that, that's great. If you would just want to donate $25 to that, I welcome that. But that's what we're doing as a campaign. And, you know, I'm all about, like I said, pushing tangibles. And I really want my people to be a part of this. So go to the Single Payer Health Fair Initiative, which will be happening between April 20th to May 20th. But register now, register ASAP. That's just what I want to highlight. And once again, thank you, obviously, for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tell everybody, when is Election Day?
Election Day is June 7th, which is my birthday, which I share with Prince, which I share with Gwendolyn Brooks, which I share with Nikki Giovanni. That's Election Day. However, California is an early ballot voter state, and so early ballots are being mailed out May 3rd. So really, it's within less than a month. Awesome. And hopefully we can get in, our goal is to get in one of these top 2 spots, which I think we're looking good. We just went through transition, so looking forward to it. Yeah.
Reverend Summerville, William Summerville, SummervilleForCongress.com. Thank you, sir, for being my guest this morning. I'm sure we'll be talking soon, and you enjoy the rest of your day. I see you have a cookout.
Yeah, when I come to ATL with my brother, we turning up. I just gotta make sure you have no constituents like looking out over your back. So, you know.
I'll be looking forward to it. I need to turn up. I need a break.
Yeah. So get ready. Get ready.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All my love. All my love.
Same here, brother. Thank you.
All right.
When we come to Washington in this campaign, we're coming to get our check. Young prodigies. Grow. Free.
Reparations, Martin said we coming for our check. Reparations, say it loud, 1, 2, mic check. Cream, cash rules everything around me. Dream. My legacy, you can't stop me. Coming for our 40 acres, HR 40 and our paper.
Kicking the door, coming for our 40 acres and more. Our 6.4 trillion. Miss that no, we fought the Civil War.
We came from the poor.
Start from the bottom, we still on the floor. We pray to the Lord.
Amen.
Picking the cotton, our fingers are sore.
Straight out the underground, escaping from slavery. The only cemeteries that we had were the trees. Watching our bodies while they blew in the breeze. Niggas to the north side to get free.
That way came from slavery. Where's on the mirror, once sit on me. Put her head on the door, put the werewolf schemes. Stick to the north side to get free.
Reparations, Martin said we coming for our check. Reparations, say it loud, 1, 2, mic check. Cream, cash rules everything around me. Dream. My legacy, you can't stop me. Coming for our 40 acres, HR 40 and our paper.
We taking them back. Putting Pettis Bridge on the map. Police came with the strap. That son niggas buddy, no cap.
Stop capping.
Speaking of cap, Kaepernick taking knees at the flag. Where my justice at? We built this nation, better give me them racks. All fat, just a match and a little bit of gasoline. 4 girls got burned back in 63.
400 years, yeah, we still ain't free. Our rise, we rise, taking it.
Kaepernick.
Reparations, Martin said we coming for our check. Reparations, say it loud, 1, 2, mic check. Cream, cash rules everything around me. Dream. My legacy, you can't stop me.
Coming for our 40 acres, HR 40 and our paper.
We stuck in the trap with no shoes, trying to pull up bootstraps. Increasing the gap. Wealth got bigger, so we had to adapt. Discriminated cause we black. I know it worth more than I know it's a fact. They tryna feel scraps. Strike me on board so we can't come back.
30 years ago on April 19, Yusef and Try Raymond Chemical Reed.
If it happened to them, think it happened to me. Screaming